What is this Merry Widow's tin found while metal detecting in Massachusetts yesterday? It was found under a tree at my in-laws' old mining house that dates back from the late 19th century. Approximately 1 5/8 inches in diameter and 5/8 inch thick. I tried to search on Google, but I cannot find the history of this company. Any ideas? It's a 3 Merry Widows condom case from circa 1920s. It was a popular brand of thick rubber and therefore reusable condoms. Throughout history, people have used everything from seaweed to sheep intestines in order to prevent pregnancy. In the early 18th century, when slaughterhouses discarded an abundance of animal organs, butchers made extra money by repurposing intestines as preventive sheaths, making them the first widely sold contraceptive product. Condom production ballooned after 1839. When Charles Goodyear's method of rubber vulcanization kick-started modern latex technologies in the United States. By 1870, condoms were available through almost any outlet you can imagine. Then suddenly, in 1873, Congress passed the Comstock Act, which paralyzed the growing industry. Anthony Comstock had been to the Civil War and was outraged by the sexual excess of soldiers and the women who made their trade with these soldiers. Comstock felt that condoms and any other forms of contraception were just a license to sexual excess. However, condoms marketed as disease protection were able to circumvent various state and federal laws established in Canada and the United States. In spite of the regulations, condom sales were brisk and the items became part of popular culture. What is this small glass vial with clear liquid and something dark and solid inside? The dark object makes a clank against the glass as if it were glass itself and rolls along inside smoothly. The box says Eclipse Pioneer Division of Bendix Aviation Corporation. I found it in the shed of a deceased family member. He saved everything he thought might be useful, so he reasonably could have had this for over 50 years. Maybe longer, he would have been 98 this year. I believe it is spherical, but the curving of the glass distorts it to make it look more flat. Many thanks in advance. My husband, who works in aviation, says it's a replacement bubble for an aircraft turn and slip indicator from an old aircraft, possibly 1940s to 50s, as the company merged with the Eclipse Machine Company to become the Eclipse Pioneer Division of Bendix Aviation in 1943. It is used to help pilots maintain coordinated flight by showing whether the aircraft is turning and banking at the same time. The ball inside the glass tube is filled with a liquid, typically kerosene or a similar petroleum product, and the ball itself is usually made of iron. During a properly coordinated turn, the ball will remain centered in the tube. If the ball moves to one side or the other, it indicates that the aircraft is either slipping or skidding. What is this 3-inch metal tube with perforations and a screw at the top? The tube is closed at both ends and cannot be opened. However, one end has a screw on the top, which can be wound and unwound. The gizmo is from my grandmother's junk drawer, so it's likely from the 1960s to 1970s. Any ideas on what this could be? It's a coin bank, invented by Claude C. Collar of New York, and patented on March 30th, 1943, and made by the B&R Manufacturing Company in New York. It has holes along the side so you can see your dimes. When it is full, you turn the screw on the top and the bottom pops out so you can collect your savings. What are these round yellow plastic with an embedded needle and hollow chalk-like tubes, bought by a local yarn store from an estate sale? The yellow plastic pieces are about 1 inch long, and the hollow chalk tubes are about 1/2 inch long. The needle is embedded in one piece and cannot be removed, and the yellow piece without the needle has a round piece of metal on the bottom. Any idea what this thing is for? It's a 1960s Tailor tacker and pattern perforator. To use, insert the pin through the pattern perforation into the fabric. Then, from under the second fabric layer, push the other chalk stick onto the pin. Push the holders together and twist, then voila! You have identical chalk marks on both layers of your folded fabric. Just like a Tailor tack, but even easier. What is this nail-like thing with a metal loop and hammer attached to it? It is heavy and solid metal or iron, and the hammer is attached to it with a string that is almost disintegrated. The hammer may or may not be related to the nail-like thing. Any ideas? It's a late 19th century scythe anvil for peening blades. The scythe was sharpened by tapping with a hammer on the cutting surface of the scythe, which was laid on the anvil, and the anvil placed on the ground. Likewise, with the peening, you can fix problems in your blade. If it has a crack or little tear, you can actually draw enough metal out until the tear disappears, and it'll basically blend in with the rest of the blade. What is this wooden box on the wall with 3 long openings? This was affixed to a wall on the stairs going down to the basement. I thought it might be a matchbox holder, but there's no lip on the bottom, and the top doesn't open. I've tried image searches and cannot find a result. Any idea what this is made for? It's a cigarette dispenser. It holds and dispenses a carton of cigarettes, very common in the 60s. The box hangs on the wall, and you put the cigarette boxes in the top hole and pull one out the bottom as needed. What is this thing made of copper found after my grandmother's house fire? We believe it may be related to a teapot, but honestly we have no idea. We've been trying to figure this out for 6 months. Any ideas? It's the top part of a coffee carafe, made by the Princess House in the 1970s. It came with a Corning brand heat-proof glass and a copper tray. It also has a tray feature underneath to place a candle. What the hell is this cartridge? I know the band. It's my uncle's favorite band, and my dad also loves them. I'm just curious as I've never seen it before. It's my dad's. I found it on the stand next to the living room lamp and thought, what the hell is this? Any ideas? It's an 8-track tape, commonly called 8-track cartridge, stereo 8, and 8-track. It's a magnetic tape sound recording technology that was popular from the mid-1960s to the early 1980s. The format was commonly used in cars and was most popular in the United States and Canada, and to a lesser extent in the United Kingdom and Japan. One advantage of the 8-track tape cartridge was that it could play continuously in an endless loop and did not have to be ejected, turned around, and reinserted to play the entire tape. After about 80 minutes of playing time, the tape would start again at the beginning. Because of the loop, there is no rewind. The only options the consumer has are play, fast forward, record, and track change. The Stereo 8 cartridge was created in 1964 by a consortium led by Bill Lear of Learjet Corporation. What is this large metal device next to a fireplace at a house in Wyoming? It seems to have something to do with heating or cooking, but I have never seen anything like it. It has 2 large wheels on it, which spin an inner orb, in which you can place things through a sliding vent. You can close the outer shell as well. The bottom compartment opens up to a tray that looks like it might catch or contain ash. Does anyone have any idea what this is? Please tell us down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.